My name is Hayden, and when I was 17 years old, I made my first $100,000 while living in my parents' basement. As you can imagine, I moved out pretty shortly thereafter.
It's been good. Time to move on.
You got the car yet? And what's cool about it is I was in a vehicle, a business that I could scale. Fast forward a few months, I was doing $60,000 a month in net profit. Fast forward a year, I crossed $100,000 a month. You get the idea. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how to go from wherever you are right now, even if you're negative, to $100,000 cash in the bank. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, and it's not through a traditional method. In fact, to get to $100,000, the thing that I did that helped me do it very quickly was to aim at $1 million. And I don't mean just, write $1 million on your wall. I mean take the exact steps that I'm going to outline in this video to become the type of person that can make $1 million.
Investors? Possibly you!
I know this works because it worked for me and about 30 of my other friends. I have made over $100,000 in 5 different industries, completely uncorrelated. I'm going to show you how I've done that and how every industry I've touched, I've made money in. Watch this video, drop a like. So the first thing I'm going to do in this video is the thing that I was most attracted to when I was a beginner. I wanted to hear what other people did to make money. But I'll tell you, now that I'm sitting in my seat, if you're watching this trying to make $100,000, it's the second thing I'm going to talk about in this video that is going to get you there. And that is how to become the person that can make that type of money. Okay, please stick with me through this video. I promise it'll change your life. It changed mine. This is just my version. It's going to help you get there a lot faster than I did, okay? The 5 industries I've been a part in, and by the way, you need to focus on one thing, not 5, okay? The first thing I did was e-commerce. It was drop shipping back in the day, 30-day shipping times, your classic terrible stuff on Facebook with no real idea of what I was doing. I bagged 100 grand, a little over 100 grand when I was 17 years old. Absolutely incredible. You can watch my full story video, 0 to 7 million. I'll leave it linked below. However, that was the first industry that I was in. Shortly thereafter, I started making these YouTube videos to talk about e-commerce, to share what I was learning for free because there wasn't much good information when I started. So I built a personal brand. I've made 6 figures through that from, there's been consulting, there's been YouTube ad revenues, there's been brand deals. We made our e-commerce program, a really cool course that we still have. You can find links below. Epic stuff. We've kept up to date with that, done a lot of money with it. It's been fantastic. The third thing is real estate. I needed a place to put the money I was making. I've made many 6 figures in real estate. We'll talk about that. My advertising company, we haven't onboarded anybody new in almost a year. We work with established e-commerce businesses, managing their ads on Facebook and TikTok, among other services. And the 5th thing is affiliate marketing. This is where I sell someone else's product and I get a cut of it. I don't have to worry about the fulfillment. I've done this for many, many years. Now check this out. 4 out of 5 of those, I've made 7 figures. I haven't done 7 yet with affiliate marketing, but I have with personal branding, with e-commerce, with real estate, and with my advertising company, and I have now crossed 8 figures in revenue with e-commerce. It's really more like 25 to 30 million by now, again, in revenue, and it's been fantastic. So that's what I've done. Kind of irrelevant. You can pick anything you want to do, but here is the type of person you need to become. It's 3 things. Number 1, you need to have a relentless self-belief. At no point ever have I doubted that I was going to get exactly what I wanted. In fact, even people look at me and say, oh, you've done well, you're young. It took longer than I expected, and I'm not at the level that I expected I would be right now. And so I've always had that delusional optimism. I believed in myself so deeply because I've seen other people do it. Whether it's online or whatever, I know that it's possible. And you know how they say your network is your net worth? Well, how the heck do you get around people that are worth 10 million when you barely make $1,000 a month? That was the question swirling in my head when I was 16, literally living in my parents' basement. And I was like, well, I'm not really a person of value to them right now. I understood that. I was like, there's nothing I can give them that will offer any value. So I had to become a person of value on my own. So what I did is I surrounded myself with those people digitally. I used social media. I was listening to podcasts, hearing their stories, reading books. I just surrounded myself with that. I wasn't paying attention to the news. I wasn't watching social media on the general news stuff. It's all this negativity. I only fed my mind with what I wanted to do. That sounds cliche, but shit, it worked. And every morning for many years when I was making $50,000 a month and then $100,000, I would go on YouTube and I would look up Rick Ross Success Vibes. This video right here, it's like a 4-minute video. I can recite this thing to you without missing a word because I've heard it hundreds of times. I actually had this video downloaded. I'd listen to it every morning for a couple minutes while I was getting ready, drinking some water, whatever, just getting ready to work for the day. Because he talked about, he showed himself working hard in the gym, working on his business, working on his finances. And it was just a really inspirational couple-minute of thing. So I would do stuff like that, and it helped surround me with the right people that were where I wanted to be in a certain area of their life. Now, the second thing is the one word that defines my entire career, and that's consistency. When I've been asked about this on podcasts before, I always said consistency was the one thing that made the difference for me in my business. I didn't take a day off for 3.5 years, but I didn't realize that during the time because I was so focused on what my business needed. And I watched it go from $50,000 a month, $80,000. After a long time, finally broke $100,000 a month, then never dropped below that for that whole year. And 120, I saw months at $160,000. It just started blowing my mind. And so I was so focused on that, I didn't have time for vacation. I didn't want to stop. I was having a lot of fun, seeing progress. So again, that's number 2, is the consistency aspect. And I want to point something out. I have a friend, very overweight, very unhealthy, probably never been in a gym, orders takeout all the time, sitting there on his vape and hookah all day. Extremely successful financially. Dude cleared $7 million last year. How? He doesn't sleep well. He works 18 hours a day, terrible lifestyle, but all he does is work on his business, and he makes a ton of money doing it. So even without the personal habits that I think are very necessary to have a well-balanced lifestyle and all this stuff, you can become successful just with consistency on one thing by itself. That's proof right there. Not saying that's what you want to do, but just keep that in mind, okay? Now, the third thing that's one of the most important is a quote that I heard from Warren Buffett. Very, very successful individual. He's worth $100.3 billion. Warren Buffett had a friend that was graduating college with him at the same time. They both split off. His friend went into the steel business. Very difficult business, made an honest living, probably made a couple bucks, nothing crazy. Warren, in that same period of time, built Berkshire Hathaway and is now worth over $100 billion personally. Crazy. That's where Warren came back and said, you know what I realized? It's not necessarily how hard you row, which means how hard you're working. He said it's what boat you're in. And that really stuck with me. It was one of those interesting things where it's truly just not about how hard you work. It's just like how the top 10 most successful men in the world are worth a combined amount more than the 3.5 billion bottom earners in this world. So just think about that disparity there. People talk about wealth gap, whatever, not here to get political, but 10 people, right? They can only work so many hours. They obviously have huge workforces under them. 10 people are worth more than 3.5 billion. Think about that. It is about what vehicle you are in, not how hard you row. The guy who gets really good at accounting and crushes his job and makes $92,000 a year and gets a bonus for $7,000, well, he put just as much work in probably as somebody else. Maybe not quite, but pretty dang close. But he just did it on the wrong thing. Simple. That's how it is. So just understand that to get to that $100,000 mark, the easiest way to do that is to aim at $1 million and become the type of person that can get there. You know, I'm no expert. I'm not the best at this. People have done it faster, bigger, better. But I've done this, done it multiple times in multiple industries. I think I offer a good insight into that. I've had my fair share of ups and downs. There's been lawsuits. You know, there's been all sorts of stuff. So I've gone through that, and I do think that this is the best way to get to 100,000. And I'd be more than happy to make a video on the easiest way to go from 100,000 to $1 million, so that you can avoid a couple of the mistakes that I made in that window of time. And just to leave you with this, if I had to start all over right now, personally, I would go do some form of sales where it's commission only. It would very likely be solar sales door to door, because I do have a little experience with that, and I know a lot of people making $150,000 to $400,000 a year doing that. That's really great money. That'd be a great way to get some seed capital to go start a business of some kind. So that's what I would do, something commission based. I wouldn't want to trade my time for money. Even right now at my $1,500 an hour rate that people pay for consulting, even if I was working 18 hours a day, your income is still limited at some point. Even though that's a lot of money, you cannot get to that next level trading your time for money. I want to leave you with that thought. I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a like. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.